Dads of Erie.
That's right. It's episode number 97.
And the house.
It's been a year.
Quite literally to the week. Since we hit record. Sorry about people.
Our bad. We've been busy, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, seriously. Beautiful people.
Beautiful people of Erie and everywhere else.
Hope you're enjoying your commute this morning, this afternoon, this evening.
I did not enjoy my commute over here today.
Yeah.
I decided we need to do an Erie traffic report. Like you should do helicopter sounds.
It's RJ up here in the Dads of Erie traffic copter flying over town. I can tell you that there's lots of traffic because it's Erie, and every road is under construction. Every single road. I don't care if it's in front of your house. I don't care if it's not in front of your house. It's all under construction. Cones everywhere.
Yeah. Seriously, right?
Yeah, I got behind a street sweeper going so slow.
It's painful.
I was like, oh, well, all right. I'll just follow the street sweeper.
I have nowhere to be today.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, man.
4 miles an hour sounds good today.
You know, it wasn't even on my list to talk about County Line. But,
dude,
that thing is crazy.
That's a mess.
Like,
is there not a better way to do that?
That's what I'm going to ask.
There's probably some traffic engineer that's like, no, that's the best way we can do that.
Yeah.
But as a dad,
there's got to be.
Like, I don't want to be that dad that walks around like a construction site with my hands on my hips thinking I can do it better.
But you could do better.
But I'm pretty sure I could come up with a better way to do County Line Road.
Why can't you, like, do one-way traffic, you know, with coming down like they do on other roads?
I don't know.
Or it's like, hey,
so
we got Old Town, so might as well just take our time. They can go around.
I don't know. The weird chunks, yeah.
Yeah, the weird chunks.
And why didn't you do the part in front of the school before school started? Like, who was like, let's look at the calendar. Where should we start? I don't know. In front of nothing? In front of the bank? And the gas station? Okay, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
What about the school portion? No, wait till September to do that part. That sounds like a good place to do that.
It's like, I know it's an old road. It's an old road.
It's been there, yeah.
It's been there forever.
Probably one of the oldest in town.
Right. And they had to run, I mean, they've run fiber and power.
I can't imagine the hodgepodge of patchwork and whatever else.
What's underground of that we don't know that took so long. But, and then like, you see the section that's done now, you're like, I thought this was going to like help traffic. This is just going to make it worse because the islands of that school are going to drive people nuts.
Yes.
And people are going to just stop.
Yes.
And kids are going to walk across the island now.
Yes.
Because they're like, oh, it's like Frogger. There's a middle safe spot now in this road.
There's a log I can stand on.
Yeah.
A permanently installed log.
But then you throw on like Highway 7.
That's what I mean. It's like, okay.
We talk about
let's not shut down every single north-south road in town at the same time.
Yeah.
Let's pick one and do an east-west at the same time, and then we can move on to another project.
Right.
Or put all the crews that you have working on all of the east, the north-south.
Oh, that's a nice idea.
Do one, get it done.
A whole section.
Take a week and do it.
Yeah.
And then move on to the other one.
Dual crews, dual companies, and just get it done.
Yeah.
And then move
give
on.
them each chunk and say meet up in the middle.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's really interesting.
But we don't work for the city. So.
Yeah, we don't work for the city. And the city's under construction. Town hall is like getting real big. It's like, wow.
At what point do we build a new one? Like, I get that it's like the historic building and all that, but I'm like, at what point are you, again, patchworking?
Yes.
It's like the new Lutheran hospital opened in Wheat Ridge.
Yeah.
And the old one, if you ever went there, it was like the original building, and then they added on, and then they added on to the add-on, and then they added on to the add-on to the add-on.
Right.
And I remember I had to go one time, and it was like, okay, get on this elevator, go up to the third floor. Then you're going to walk like 100 yards across this weird like sky bridge thing. And then you're going to take another elevator up to the 6th floor. And then you're going to take another like walkway from there up like a slight ramp.
Right.
To another elevator to get on and I was like, what?
That's the use out the old Longmont Hospital used to be too.
Yeah. You got to just at some point start over.
Like we have land in the city.
Yeah.
Let's make a new town hall.
Yeah.
Right.
They did it with the police station and it looks great.
It looks great. It's functional. Although that thing is actually too small now.
Yeah, it's like everything else. It's like everything else in town. Like we build schools, and then you look now, like Soaring Heights has 4 or 5 portables behind it again.
Right, yeah.
And you're like, they just built that.
Yeah. hilarious.
Like
Man,
we don't know how to count.
and we have probably new listeners now because there's so many new people to Erie. So welcome to Dads of Erie.
Welcome. If you've never heard us, I'm RJ.
Yeah, and I'm Jay.
That's Jay.
Yeah. And our
We're just
Genesis,
two dads. We're just two dads.
What's our Genesis story of how we started the podcast in 2017?
Is that when we started?
Yeah.
7 years ago?
Yes. And we're not even 100 episodes.
You can tell how consistent we are.
Yes.
This is the annual episode of Dads of Erie. What did it? I don't remember. I had the podcast gear because I was doing a podcast with my cousin.
Yes. We were at 3 Margaritas in Broomfield.
Okay.
One night eating
I'm glad
chips
you
and
remember
salsa.
this because I don't remember this story at all.
And we were talking about podcasts because they were relatively new. Not everyone was doing them.
That's true.
You had this podcast with Court,
Yeah.
which your wife was continuing to make fun of you for.
Yeah.
And we were at
It
dinner
was
with
pretty
our
nerdy.
little
It was
kids.
pretty nerdy. Yeah.
It was pretty nerdy.
Yeah.
Long, about an hour, 2 hours.
Yeah. We had segments.
There's still people that had listened to your podcast, though.
Apparently, because he ran into somebody recently, not in the area, like not somebody he knew, that was like, "Wait, are you that guy?" And we've stopped doing that. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
not too long after we
2017,
started
yeah.
ours. So
Sorry, Court. I replaced you. You broke up with them.
I think we both got busy too.
Yeah, totally. He's about to be a busy man. He's about to
was
get married.
Congratulations to Court.
Congratulations, Court.
You picked
But-
a good one. Have you met her? You've met Mary.
Oh, Mary. Yeah.
She's great.
Mary's amazing. Yeah. Mary's going to be a great addition to your family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like leaps and bounds.
Leaps and bounds.
Not to say anything about any of the other cousins, wives, or husbands, but
Yeah. We're all excited.
Court found a good one.
He found a great one. Yeah. So, anyways, we're at 3 Margaritas.
Okay.
We're eating chips and salsa. It's like kids eat free
I'm there.
night.
I'm picturing it.
Yeah.
I'm there.
And we're like, there should be a podcast about the dad life. And then you're like, about the dad life in Erie. We're like, let's do it. And that's how we started.
And I
Dad's
paid
Erie.
some Indian guy $5 on
on
Fiverr
Fiverr, yeah.
for our logo.
Fiverr is still around, by the way.
I know I use it sometimes when I need something
Yeah.
like that. I'm like, because I'm okay at Photoshop or whatever, but I'm not that good.
Right.
And
Yeah.
like coming up with, well, now you do a lot of AI generated stuff, but back then that was like the way to do it. Was like,
That was the way,
hey,
yeah.
$5 and some, takes a couple days and you get a graphic back.
Totally. And we probably should update. Our logo's starting to be outdated.
The minivan,
Yeah.
it's true.
No, the orange and the minivan. Like,
Oh.
we need to freshen that thing up, I think.
Well, if anybody's a graphic artist,
And wants to step in.
we'll pay you $5.
But anyways, so that's how the Dads of Erie. That's where we talk about the dad life of Erie, Colorado, which our audience continues to grow because the houses continue to grow.
Yeah. By now we should have thousands of listeners.
Because in this town,
But right now we only have 4 reviews on Apple Podcasts. So also you guys should review us.
go to Spotify or Apple, wherever
Yeah.
you listen to podcasts.
Are we
and
even on Spotify? I've never
Give
even
us a
looked.
5-star review.
Are we on Spotify?
Yeah, we're on Spotify.
Did you put that up there?
No.
It
We've
just
gotta be.
automatically.
Anyways, but all right, let's talk.
Okay.
It's been a year, so we got a lot to cover, including the construction of Erie, Colorado.
Yes. Which
We
is
have had
constant.
some new things move into town. One of those is Underground Fitness by Christos. Have you used Fitness Underground?
I had no idea that was even over there.
I know, because it's so underground.
It's so underground. The first rule of fitness underground is you don't talk about fitness.
When I drive by there early in the morning, like 5:36, because I have to go to Briggs that now.
Yeah. Because
There are so many people in a small room working out.
Is CrossFit just like not a thing anymore?
No, we have 2 CrossFits now and Underground Fitness.
And 1440 or whatever?
Yes, and the rec center.
Sheesh.
So we have plenty of places because so many people live in this town now.
It's true. And the rec center's not that big.
No,
I mean, it's decent sized.
Talk about something that needs to expand as well.
I know.
So, yes, Fitness Underground. It's interesting because it's just a room with TRX and dumbbells.
Which is kind of the whole premise of like what CrossFit was
Right.
literally rent a garage,
And throw
an
up some
industrial garage space, and throw some
squat racks.
squat racks, and
yeah.
you need some medicine balls, and
Yeah, call it good.
it's all good.
But here's the thing. Would you prefer to work out in a group or individual?
Individual.
There's a population out there that really, really enjoys group fitness.
I can understand that, but
Like our wives right now are at the bar class.
yes.
And
And yoga? Are they doing both today
don't
again?
know.
My wife did that last week.
that's crazy at the rec center.
I know. Yeah, I guess I could see it.
Like, there's individuals that don't want to think about what they have to do for their workouts.
I guess that is nice. Like, because I had a personal trainer once. We joined a 24-hour fitness when we were like newlyweds.
Okay.
And they were like, well, we'll throw in, like 5 personal training. We're like, okay, sure. And that was kind of nice because he like built like 5 different workouts.
Yes.
And then I didn't need him after that. Then I could just kind of go and I was like, all right, today's going to be number 1 and then tomorrow will be number 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't.
That's super interesting.
Yeah. I could see that. Like you take some of the thought process out.
Right.
So you're not just there like, I guess I'll run now. I don't know. I see some weights, like just kind of hodgepodging it.
That and people are motivated with like, I have to show up to group class.
True. Some like accountability almost.
Yeah. You have to check in the week of, reserve your spot. Like it's on your calendar.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to me that like, it's not the way I prefer to work out.
No.
But I know that is motivating for others.
Plus you're set to a time.
Yes.
Sometimes that doesn't work.
Right.
That's where I think like working out individually, like do whatever you feel like it.
Yeah. The flexibility of your day.
Yeah. Versus like, I have to be there at the 5 a.m. group.
Right.
Or I had to make a reservation or whatever too. Like that's a whole.
It's just interesting to me. I think it's a strange dynamic that's happening in our town because of the population, new gyms. And I just noticed it the other week. I was like, man, there's a lot of people in a small room.
And we do have
That doesn't sound like fun to me.
we do have some empty retail space
Right.
and some commercial buildings. So there's like it's a good use.
Yeah, it's a good use.
Yeah.
People are getting fit. I
Yeah.
enjoy it.
I'm all for it.
So the other thing is when the rec center in the wintertime, there is a spin class that's early in the morning at 6 a.m. with the best spin instructor in the city.
Wow.
And you have to sign up while in spin class for the next week because the calendar only goes 7 days.
So you have to book it the next week.
Yeah, so you're in spin class
Booking
for the
your
first
next
2
week.
minutes booking. And sometimes you get on the reservation list then.
While you're even in the class.
It only happens in the wintertime because people are like
Yeah, because like there's probably a lot of people that right now are
riding outside.
cycling
Yeah.
outside or whatever else. But
Yeah,
yeah,
they're trying to keep up. But like, it's nuts, man. Do
That's
you like
crazy.
spin class?
I've never been.
You've never been to a spin class?
No.
You've never rode your bike to nowhere?
No, that sounds stupid. But I see enough clips from like the Peloton classes and stuff that I'm like, that looks kind of fun. I could see that kind of being like more entertaining than riding a stationary bike by yourself.
Right.
Like that would be one that I would not want to do by myself.
Yeah,
Because you're right. You're just sitting there like, I'm not going anywhere.
totally. And you don't want to push yourself.
And at least there's like music pumping and they're like, all right, get up now and pedal faster or whatever. Like that looks fun.
Yeah, totally. I agree.
Yeah.
So you know that.
That's a group class I get.
Yeah. All right. Let's do some breaking news.
Breaking news.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you got to do that a little better. You're a little rusty. All that.
Breaking news.
From Dads of Erie. Come on.
Dads of Erie News Bulletin.
Just said. So our Erie Tigers made a great run last year
Yes.
and won.
All the way to state. Yes.
It's on the giant board now. Actually, it's really small on the giant
I know. I was
board.
surprised at how small it is. I'm like, I thought it'd be the whole billboard on the back end of that
I know.
Jumbotron.
The Jumbotron out there.
4A state champions 2023.
Well, now they've gone up to 5A.
It shows. Listen, I love you boys. Keep doing what you're doing, but woof.
Yeah, the Erie Tigers, man.
I went to the Mountain Vista game,
Okay.
which is a big school down in Highlands Ranch, I think.
Okay.
And Erie did not look very good.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, you going from 4A to 5A is a real thing.
That's a big jump.
Like, why do you think it's such a big thing?
I think
Is it just because?
because by the time you get to 5A,
Yes.
your school sizes are that much bigger.
Okay.
So your talent pool is that much bigger. Because if you're talking a percentage,
Okay.
if you're talking like your best players are 10%, let's say,
Okay.
of your total school population.
Yes.
When you're a school of 200, when you're like 2A,
Yes.
you're talking, you got 20 guys,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
You get to 4A and you're like, okay, yeah, you're a school of 1,000 or whatever. Okay, you have 100 guys, maybe, so maybe 10% is a little high. But then you get to that 2,000 mark or whatever that 5A becomes, your pool's that much bigger. And then also the draw for a school like that is going to be bigger. for kids that might open enroll or whatever.
Right.
I think that's part of it.
Yeah. It's amazing how long it will take for them to be competitive.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. And I think too, 5A, you get that much more, like, again, your budget
Right. Increases
for the program.
Yeah.
You know, you look at have you been in Frederick High School recently?
No.
I had to go there for something a while back, and their weight room looks like professional.
Right.
Like, you know, it's what, 40 or like 20 or 30 squat racks that are like color coded, you know, and all this. I mean, it's all very, very cool. And they all have their own weight racks. So you're not having to borrow weights. And I'm thinking about like my days in high school when Erie was 2A.
Right.
And we're like working with rusty old weights and, you know, upstairs above the locker rooms or whatever. It was nothing great.
Right.
So I think, again, that jump from 4A to 5A in terms of funding, because, again, it's going to be a percentage of
Coaching
whatever,
staff.
and then your coaching staff.
Yeah.
And, again, your pool of coaches you can pull from. Either you're going to have a budget to pull from not a teacher, but also because you're so much bigger of a high school, you're going to have that many more teachers.
Right.
And the potential to have a guy who played or is that much better of a coach is higher.
Right. He's on the ladder
Yeah.
climbing of football, so he's going to want to coach a 5A program so he
Yeah.
can go to college or
So
have his
it's
own
that.
5A
I think those are the things that I think Erie is having to grow through this year.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it's like the kids themselves. I think it's just encountering bigger schools that have been at it a little longer.
Yeah, totally.
You're gonna feel that.
Yeah. It's interesting because they've won one game against Brighton. They beat Brighton 45-0.
I think Brighton's in the same boat though.
Oh, they're in the same boat.
I think they just moved up.
So we
Because I have a friend whose son plays for Brighton, and he was telling me the same thing.
Okay. So we've lost to Ralston and Mountain Vista.
Yeah.
And tonight we play actually on the 20th. So we have a week
A week off.
We play Fort Collins, which is a big program.
Here? That's homecoming, right?
Yep, it is homecoming.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just going to be an interesting season, which we also lost our star quarterback.
Because who'd you say the other one we lost to? Ralston?
Yeah, Ralston Valley.
Yeah, they've been 5A for decades.
Yeah,
So,
I get it.
Again,
So we have Fort Collins coming up, and then Broomfield at the end of the month after Fort Collins.
plus you got to think like a Ralston Valley is in Arvada.
Yeah,
And granted, there's one or two other high schools in Arvada.
right.
So again, if you're the bigger, better high school in Arvada, you're going to pull kids out of the other Arvada schools and bring them to your school.
Right. And we lost our star quarterback.
And our star quarterback's in college now.
He's redshirting at
Kansas
City.
Yeah.
But yeah, we lost our amazing.
I think that was part of it, was watching some of that, and you're like, oof. Like, it just, overall, it just didn't. I mean, it was like the game I was at was 45 or 40 something to 6 at half, and it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And, you know, we're becoming now also a non-official podcast of the Rutgers University because our star softball player, it is
When is that
freshman
season?
year.
That's a
It's
spring season. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But even our softball girls went to state last year and lost in state.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an amazing run as well.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to be hopefully good this year. Again.
They've always been able to play up
Yeah.
because, like, even when we were 2A for football, we were 3A. Even though we were a tiny little school, we were 3A for softball and still won state.
Yeah. We're
A couple
still,
years in a row.
Totally. So, anyways, our unofficial podcast now.
Unofficial
Rutgers.
of Rutgers and Erie Tigers.
Yeah. And it's amazing
What is the Rutgers mascot?
you would ask me. I've seen it.
A Rutger, what is a Rucker?
Yeah. I forget
Is
what it
Rutgers
is.
a name?
I'm going to remember it after we hit stop on this.
I didn't even know it was in New Jersey until I started doing research on it because she was going to go.
Okay, so anyways, about Rutgers and all that stuff.
I didn't
In high
spell
school
Rutgers.
now.
How do you spell Rutgers? I'm trying to Google it.
In high school, kids can have NIL deals. Can you believe that?
That's crazy.
So even in college, but even
Ooh, Scarlet Knights.
so yeah, they're the Knights thing.
Wow.
I'm sure Angie's listening to us screaming.
Oh,
at
and it's
us.
G. It's not a K.
Oh, okay.
It's Rutgers, not Rutgers.
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 Anyways, so kids in high school can have NIL deals.
That's insane to me.
Do you think we could get an NIL deal with Dads of Erie with one of those kids?
Probably, I guess if it's now legal or whatever.
Wear a Dads of Erie t-shirt.
Like, hey, we'll give you $5
be a
Dad's a very
name, image, license. We use your license.
the official podcast of Joey or whatever.
Because we do have Titleship sponsors. We do have advertising slots here. Because before the end today, we're going to talk about Sweets Ice Cream when they're open, because they pay for our advertising slot.
They do? Are you getting paid?
No. An ice cream.
I've never gotten a free ice cream. Where you at, Angie?
I never got a free ice cream.
Are we just trying to get them to give us free ice cream?
That's what we're
Be like, hey, did you hear us when we shouted out on
This
our
is
podcast?
our goal this year.
Hey, teenage kid that doesn't listen to Dad's a Very podcast.
Go to Sweets.
Go to Sweets.
It's yummy.
No, I'm saying the kid behind the counter.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, hey, you don't listen, but we gave you a shout out, so like this one's free, right?
Right.
Like, I don't know you, sir.
We know one. One of them is ahead.
True.
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyways, that's interesting. NIL deals in high school.
That is an interesting realm. Even the college is kind of interesting to watch. I've always thought they should have them.
Right.
But it's interesting to watch it happen.
Especially this year in the advertising slots.
Who was it the other day? It was like
Dion and his son.
Was it Utah? They gave the entire football team got new trucks.
Yeah, and then the softball team got new trucks the next week.
Yeah.
Or it's like even you're watching football now and like the Sanders family is KFC.
Well, it's every other commercial is one of them or both of them or whatever. Yeah.
You're like, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good money.
Yeah.
And, like I sort of like it in the college round, but it's ridiculous that it's in high school.
Yeah. Yeah, that is ridiculous.
Like there's got to be
an amateur portion of sports.
Right.
And that line keeps getting moved because it was at college, you didn't get it. Now it's like at college, and now we're moving it back to high school. And it's like, at what point are we going to see the Little League, World Series teams
are getting paid?
Right. And like, at what point is that ridiculous?
That is ridiculous. I would hate to see that happen.
Like college, I get it because it was like these kids are putting their bodies on the line. Yeah, they're getting an education, but they're potentially putting like future sports careers on the line for a scholarship.
Right.
And then you heard stories of like guys that like came from rough parts of town or whatever, that their mom was like still struggling to pay the bills. And here they are like at college, but because they can't make NIL type money, because you always heard the stories like boosters trying to do things like, hey, I'll hire you to work at my car dealership. And I'll pay you this massive salary as long as you show up like once a month or whatever.
Right.
The ways though they got around the NIL stuff, but
yeah, it's just ridiculous.
So like I get that, but like high school, I'm like, okay, they're still a kid.
Yeah, they still have
like by college they're presumably 18. They're an adult,
right? On
paper, they're starting to make adult decisions. Like
it's just interesting.
Then it just puts a lot of that on the coaches too, to be like teaching them financial.
Oh yeah,
like
stewards. Yeah.
Like how do you? Hey, you're going to make all this money
quickly.
Don't screw it up.
Yeah. The power of interest.
Yeah.
At that age.
Yeah, let's talk about compound interest. Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. All right. Let's wrap this up.
Okay. That was episode 97.
It's so good to be back in the booth.
We're back.
We're back. I hope you enjoyed. Our new listeners, subscribe. Let us know you're reaching out. You can always reach us out by Instagram or our Gmail account.
Are you logged into the Gmail account?
No, you need to, though.
Okay, I'll log in.
Hey, but let us know that you listened. Yeah. We want to know who's listening these days.
Yeah, leave us a review on iTunes. We are not on Spotify, so I'll figure out how to make that happen.
All right. Hey.
Okay.
Great to be in the booth.
Yeah, bye.